Hi, this is Autumn Payne, and I am here with Stephen Walker, and we are doing a mental health interview again today. Stephen Walker is a therapist at Middle Way Health, and he's also a Buddhist teacher. So he brings a lovely combination of Eastern and Western philosophies to topics of mental health. So thank you for joining us again today.
You're welcome.
So today the topic is pretty serious. I wanted to talk about suicide in the community. I had a friend who died by suicide a few weeks ago. I'm going to show
Oh,
her picture real quick. This
oh,
is Hannah Beausang, and
oh,
she
oh,
worked for a nonprofit, very beautiful
yes.
um, sweetheart, died at 30 years old by suicide,
Uh-huh.
and so difficult for the community and those who loved her and appreciated her so much. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about how the community should process such an event and maybe work with those feelings of losing someone to suicide.
It's always a weird death because it takes place outside of what we think of should be a normal kind of death, you see. Almost dying by accident or war or some other weird way, um, for a lot of people feels less traumatic than uh, suicide. So even though it's weirdly common, it's also doesn't fit into our life force, you see, because most of the time we're trying to stay alive and it's difficult to stay alive, it's difficult to breathe, and we're constantly working to do things. So um, even when someone's in a lot of pain, a suicide feels different. It feels in another realm almost.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're suicide survivors, I think the grieving is a little bit different than um, I'm prioritizing it a little bit. People can call and disagree, but I'm prioritizing a lot over some other deaths because it doesn't fit in with the normal course of events. Not that
Yes.
accidents or illness or war or something like that do either, but um, they feel somewhat more explainable. We always feel like we need to explain, but it's never adequate with a suicide.
Yeah. It's harder to make
Yeah,
sense of it,
yeah,
I think.
yeah. And
Um,
even though there are a lot of suicide lines and a lot of data, um, I don't know if we can absolutely say like this is prevented. I know it does in a way. People call and they're they're literally talked off the ledge. So we know we've saved lives that way. But there's a weird part where people can kind of fake it and I'm fine and they know the right things to say, and then even though people have tried to make an intervention, people are suiciding anyway.
yeah. And I think for her, from what I understand, and she was not a close friend, she was a colleague
Yeah,
and a Facebook friend, but she was public about the fact that she was dealing with depression and that she was working
yeah,
to try to address it. So it wasn't like something that was completely hidden, which I think brings up more feelings of being helpless, right? If or like, well, if she was getting help when we were working, like, people are, if we were aware, then we feel like we should be able to prevent it, but it
there's
was
something
not
that remains
prevented.
kind of hidden, right? Where I think it has to do with control issues, but also somewhere like people are, even though they might be sharing their depression or struggles, there there's something still hidden there,
Hmm.
and that's the hard part, because uh, so much of the work is trying to convince people like, okay, you've got support, you don't need to hide out. So maybe next time we talk, I want to talk about how to create like healing environments so people can experience what it's like to kind of come out and not be hidden. So I'm just going to make a pitch for an event that we do once a month called Expressions, where the idea is to create an environment through music and poetry and art where people can kind of come out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
find a way to express themselves without staying hidden. So my current way I like to do therapy is more emphasis on creativity as a cure, like
I
that.
love that. I love that.
So that's why the motto for the Expressions event is Art Saves Lives.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up. Art saves
Yeah,
lives.
yeah.
Yeah.
So um, I'm going to be interested in seeing if my good friend Clement Charles, who's a musician and community activist, is willing to maybe come on next time and talk about how music has been healing and is healing for him personally, and also for listeners. So
Absolutely.
Clement's been a member of the Middle Way Health faculty, so to speak, and really support his work in the community. So wherever you are, Clement, this is a shout out.
Wonderful. Yeah, so creating that healing environment.
Yeah. All right.
You haven't oh,
Yeah, I
sorry.
think so often people, they're the only way to deal with the deep aloneness is to leave. You see,
Hmm.
so maybe the alienation factor is huge, particularly in modern societies, and particularly with maybe creative people too, like Hannah, because I don't have the statistics in front of me, but we know that billions of people on the planet, right, have got to be depressed. Okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Third world countries, war in Ukraine, war in Somalia, all over. You know, so why isn't everyone that's under this stress with illness and low income and political oppression and war, why aren't they killing themselves? You see, so there's a special kind of profile in a sense, not just situation profile, like look for people if they're unreasonably cheerful, or look for people that are giving away possessions, or look for people that of course had attempts, but there's more than depression or hardship involved. Otherwise we just so everyone that's under oppression or hardship or depression would be suicidal. No, but not.
That's so true. And I think that's a misconception that suicide is a result of circumstances. That is
Well,
a misconception. Like things get so bad, then you want to. It's like,
I think it does.
not
It
really.
it has. It's not just a mood disorder, but a thought disorder too, where people can't live with themselves. Also, so there's I can't live with the depression or just the mood, but also we see dramatic suicides of probably men that make the news, like CEOs that you know you know screw up or something like that. And there was a recent suicide just in the news about one of the parents that was in the college admissions scandal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a
Yeah.
successful real estate in the South LA. So something about I can't live with myself. My image is shattered now. I'm not. People don't think of me anymore, or something like that. So there we have to look at also different styles of causes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
yeah, you're right.
yeah,
You're right
sudden
with that.
sudden changes. Um, so sudden changes in identity, um, and then the suicide, of grief and PTSD kinds of things like that. It's honestly a big, big topic,
It's a
but
big
yeah,
topic. Yeah. And so I do want to mention too that you have a bereavement group. You know, some people in Sacramento here do love Hannah and are wrestling with this right now. But you have a bereavement group on starting Wednesday, November 16th at 7 p.m. at Middle Way Health. And it's for free, a healing space. So whether it's, you know, somebody that knows Hannah or someone just many other, you know,
And it's
they
drop
can
in,
come.
you know, or you can email swalker@middlewayhealth.com or call the phone number 916-492-9007 and say you're coming.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so for those listening in the Sacramento area, you have to be local for this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just in person. I it would be possible. We'll see to do a hybrid group in the future, but that has you know, a lot of things to work out. So it's going to be show up for a while in person.
Excellent. Are there any like closing thoughts for survivors of suicide?
Well, there is a group, you know, that has it's a suicide survivors group, and I can next time I can flash that or get the
Yeah.
information for people, and I've presented that, you know, at that group, and I'm a suicide survivor myself, so I know what that's about.
Okay, I'll put it in the comments. I'll get that
Oh,
information
okay.
from you later and I'll put
Yeah.
it in the comments so people can
Okay.
see it. Yeah,
Great.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining
Yeah.
again
You're
today.
welcome.
We'll
Okay.
see you
Till
next
next time.
time.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.